Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my Jaybird. And this is game 46 of Battle of the Boxes. And this is a 16 game series I got running here. I use no arrows, no memorizations, no help of any kind. And I'm naming it Remembering 1976 and 1977, just how the game I played. I'm bringing 1977 back to bot 1400. And the bots are getting tough. It is tough. And I'm bringing it all back just the way it was and how I had to play the game and everything else. So let's get down to this right away here. E4, D6, D4, A6, E3, D7, knight over the crown, G4, E6, D3, F6. I start the attack right away because the bots in the 1500, 1600, 1700, 1800, they bring the queen out here, or they set it here, or vice versa on this side. And this was one of the main reasons why when Jay Bird 77 always used to run his bishop out here all the time. And I didn't know what to do and how to develop and everything else. That's why these two end pawns are on the ends. Actually, that was one of the first moves I had to do to stop the bishops right away because he kept doing that. And and here we go. After F6, G3, G6, because that queen's here, I can't go into a knight's bird or J bird. I can't work the game the way I want to. So now it looks like I'm going to Ficchetto this way and move into another one of my creative openings here. After G6, C4, G7, A3, E7. There's a knight's bird split here. H3, D7, into the knight's queen. Anytime you see the knight and the queen here, either side, it's the knight's queen. And like I'll mention it again, with these pawns, this up here, these two pawns, and usually it's this pawn, or it could be vice versa on the other side. You can move your pieces in behind the ranks here like this, either way. And like I discussed before, but this is how this went, and I still get to move into my opening because the pawn pushes. It's my style of playing that I created back then, which was short-lived in 77 and 2010. Very short-lived there again, and not much of that was going on except when I beat Deep Fritz 8, but I only did that just to beat the game. I wasn't really, trying to go just see how. I knew it was big what I had, but how much more I can do, and which I already knew, but wasn't my goal, and that's why I never continued on with it. I was doing other things, But this year and last year is the longest I've been playing this chess now, and now I'm bringing 1977 back and showing you just how strong these openings really are. Already, this is it. Even though his opening don't look too good, even with one of the legendary openings, still, this is pushing 27, 28, 2900. Okay, after D7, F3, castle, D2, rookie over B8, C2, B6, E2. I Ficchetto the other side, and Jay Bird got creative back in the day where he just pushed up Ficchettoed the two sides and brought the two pawns up, used part of my opening, and he was getting creative too back then. So we call that the Jay's Bird's Wings right now, the two bishops on the end. After B7, G3, C5, C3, takes D4, F3, E5, castles. And like I said, I'm trying to explain and remember the best I can of certain situations that happen and bring them up and how we discussed our openings and how to play. And then when we get to the 2200, I'm really going to, there's some other couple of things that's running through my head now I remember we discussed, but I want to wait till we get to the 2200 or the Jay Bird style looking. All right, after castle C6, H2, B5, A5, takes C4, takes C4. After takes C4, B5, E2, C8, B3, C6, D2, takes A5, takes A5, takes F1, takes F1, C7, D1, C8, F3, C5, A3, H8, G1, G8, D5, H6, E1, E3 check, H2, C7, B4, C3, F1, C8, B1, C1, D3, takes B1, takes B1, C1. Of course, I want to trade all my pieces down. Once you get yourself safe and tucked away, and, trade it down. Trade it down. Get to the end game. After C1, A2, C2, takes C2, takes C2, takes F7. Now, it looks like a tough game, a tight one, too. And he's going to get some more pawns out of this yet, but I have position here with this rook in the back, and this knight got nowhere to go, really. It's going to take too much time for it to come out. It's not even active. After F7 takes, C3, C4, E7, E2, C2, G3, G7, takes D6. I go C8. Well, he can't defend both pieces at the same time here. So he's got to take, let's see if he takes the right one. He takes the right one, C8. I take F7, check, E6. Of course, you walk this way towards these two pawns to help out in case anything gets slipped away. Because this knight got nowhere to go. It's going to take too many moves for him to push these pawns to make anything happen for himself. After E6, B7, A2, C5 check, bring it over to king, D6, A4, F4. Now I just want to eliminate this knight right away. Right away, eliminate the knight. And he's pinned. After F4, A5, B2, D3. First, take it with a check. G3, G3 takes, B3. Now, lose your knight because you're going to lose your pawn. What do you want to lose? He can't defend that pawn. After B3, C1, D3, H4, D2. Oh, and another thing, I didn't have to take the pawn. I pushed up here. See, I go back. Instead, I push up. If he takes, I take. He don't have enough time to get through this and push. He's never going to make it. Plus, the king's right here ready to go, and the rook can always run back over. So after the D3, H4, D2, king F2, don't take, get the queen, D1, G3. Now you clean house. Takes B4, F1, A4, F2, takes A5, F1, A2. First clean up. Make it easy for yourself first. Make it simple. After A2, G4, H2, G1, takes H4, F2, A5, G5, A4, G2, A3. Not worried about it. His knight, I saw it. What's he going to do? Take, I take. It does nothing. He pushes, I take. My king's here. He pushes, I take. He just takes. I'm getting another queen. After A3, H4 takes, A2, F5, he takes, but now he loses his knight, takes F5, takes F5, A1, G3, G1, H4, E1, H5, H2, G4, and that is mate there. Okay. And you do a deep opening. It doesn't matter. Even those openings that they have today, hey, they're great. They are awesome. I'm slowly working my way into it, but I don't know a lot about it. I seem to I want the way I've been playing, and for me, it's easier for me to study and learn more and do more with my game here like this. What I've been doing when I how no matter how much and how far or little I did, this is basically my style of playing. That's the way I learned how to play. My first game was using the J Bird with the two bishops in the middle, the two pawn pushes, and the two end rook pawns up one. That was my first game that I won in 1977. So it's like, no, I have my own way of style when I play, and that's the way I've been playing. Yes, I do try the other openings, and I got to learn tactics yet. I'm slowly getting there with tactics, all the little tricks. Game goes on like this, and look for the right moves, the best moves. And like I said, there's always mistakes and blunders in games. I mean, two grandmasters at 2800s, one can beat another. I mean, 90% of the time there's a mistake or a blunder somewhere. And maybe between a mistake and an accuracy, you got to draw the point somewhere. Okay, there's the game. Thanks for stopping by, and we're going to have some more Battle of the Boxes.